Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopi Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchan Gorangi Radhe Vrindaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Narayana Namaskritya Naram Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. Bolo Shri Radhe Golokananda Bhagwan ki
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna everyone.
Krishna Tarun. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna everyone.
Hare Krishna Ravi. Hare Krishna Rasikshan Prabhu ji.
Hare Krishna everyone.
Alright, तो कल हम लोग कल एक्चुअली श्लोक 9 पढ़ रहे थे हम लोग. And you know, like in last previous shloks, Mother Dehuti is praying to Kapil Muni. Yeah, Kapil Muni, who is none other than avatar of Lord Vishnu. So so we're just going a shlok back, yeah, where Mother Dehuti is saying, I believe, and it's Ekadashi today, so happy Ekadashi to everyone. I think in India it was yesterday, but very auspicious day. So Mother Dehuti is saying that I believe, my Lord Kapil Muni, Bhagwan Vishnu, that you are Lord Vishnu himself under the name of Kapil. Yeah, and you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Brahma. Yeah, Tam Tvamaham Brahma Param Pumasham is what Mother Dehuti is saying. The sense and sages, being freed from all the disturbances of the senses and mind, meditate upon you. For by your mercy only can one become free from the clutches of the three modes of material nature. Only by the mercy of Lord Vishnu, Dhvast Gun Pravaham, yeah, become free from the clutches of three modes of material nature, the Satogun, Rajogun, and Tamogun. And also at the time of dissolution, Mahapralaya, right? We have been reading, there is a Mahapralaya after every day of Lord Brahma, and then also after the Lord Brahma. All the Vedas are sustained in you only. Vande Vishnum Kapilam Ved Garbham is how Mother Dehuti is praying to Kapil Muni. Yeah. And then she is saying, so what Maitreya Muni is telling Mahatma Vidur is that, thus the Supreme Personality of Godhead Kapil, satisfied by the words of his mother Dehuti, towards whom he was very affectionate, replied with gravity. So what we are going to read now is what Kapil Muni is replying to Mother Dehuti. So Rasiksham Prabhuji.
Kapila Vacha Margenanena mataste susabhyonodite name astitena parakashtam chira devaro tasyasi. The personality of Godhead said, my dear mother, the path of self-realization which I have already instructed to you is very easy. You can execute this system without difficulty. And by the following it, you shall very soon be liberated, even within your present body. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so Kapil Muni is now telling Mother Devuti is that, my dear mother, yeah, Mat Aste, the path of self-realization, which I have already instructed to you, is very easy. Margena anena mataste susevyano aditen me is very, susevya is very easy, is what Kapil Muni is saying. Yeah. And you can execute this system without difficulty, and by following it, you shall very soon be liberated even within your present body. Yeah, Param Kasta is basically the supreme place, right? The perfection of human being is very soon you should get liberated even within your present body is what is important. So even on this material world, with this material body, and one can still be liberated, is what Kapil Muni is saying. Like what it says is devotional service is so perfect that simply by following the rules and regulations and executing them under the direction of the spiritual master, one is liberated. As it is said herein, from the clutches of Maya, even in this body. Yeah, says Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukta means that even though one is in the material body, there are still some material necessities. Since the body is material, because one is fully situated in the service of the Supreme Lord, he should be understood to be liberated. Yeah, that's the definition of liberation. One is fully situated in the service of the Supreme Lord. He should be understood to be liberated, means out of clutches of this material world. So I read this, Tarun.
Liberation entails being situated in one's own position. That is the definition in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Muktir Swarupena Vyavestiktita. The Swarupa or actual identity of the living entity is described by Lord Chaitanya. Jivera Swarupa Haya Krishnera Nitya Dasa. The real identity of the living entity is that he is eternally a servitor of the Supreme Lord. If someone is 100% engaged in the service of the Lord, he is to be understood as liberated. One must understand whether or not he is liberated by his activities in devotional service, not by other symptoms. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so very nicely mentioned. Who is really liberated? Yeah. In Srimad Bhagavatam is Muktir Sarva Rupera Vyavastitah. The Sarva Rups, the Swarup, or actual identity of the living entity is described by Lord Chaitanya is Jivera Swarup Haya Krishnera Nitya Dasa. That is the constitutional position of the soul, yeah, of the living entity, is that he is eternally a servitor of the Supreme Lord. If someone is 100% engaged, then he is liberated, is what is being mentioned here. Yeah. Anilji? Anilji? Anilji, can you hear?
Yeah. Shraddhat Svetan Matam Mahyam Justam Yad Brahmavadivihi Yen Mam Bhayam Yaya Mrityu Mrachanyat Dvidaha. My dear mother, those who are actually transcendentalists certainly follow my instructions as I have given them to you. You may rest assured that if you traverse this path of self-realization perfectly, surely you shall be freed from fearful material contamination and shall ultimately reach me. Mother, persons who are not conversant with this method of devotional service certainly cannot get out of the cycle of birth and death. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Kapil Muni is saying to mother that once you follow this path, you shall be freed from fearful material contamination and shall ultimately reach me. Is what he's saying. Yen mam bhayam yaya. Means you'll ultimately reach me. And the one who are not conversant with this method of devotional service, right, they cannot follow this bhakti marg. What happens? Cannot get out of the cycle of birth and death and old age and disease, as we know. Yeah. Mritrim achanti. Yeah. So material existence is full of anxiety and therefore it is fearful. One who gets out of this material existence automatically becomes free from all anxieties and fear. One who follows the path of devotional service enunciated by Lord Kapil is very easily liberated. Yeah. Ravi?
मैत्रेय उवाच इति परदर्श्य भगवान् सन्ति तामत् मनो गतिम् स्वमात्रा ब्रह्मवादिन्या कपिलो नुमयो ययो. Shri Maitreya said, the Supreme Personality of God ahead Kapila, after instructing his beloved mother, took permission from her and left his home, his mission having been fulfilled. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Kapil Muni gave the Sankhya Vigyan and then he left the home. Yeah. Says after taking Anumato Yayo from Mother Dehuti. Yeah. And Maitreya Muni, as we know, is continuously reciting the appearance of Lord Kapil to Mahatma Vidur. Yeah. And let's read some of this purport. Ajay?
Sure. The mission of the appearance of Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Kapil was to distribute the transcendental knowledge of Sankhya philosophy, which is full of devotional service. Having imparted that knowledge to his mother and through his mother to the world, Kapil Dev had no more need to stay at home. He took permission from his mother and left. Apparently, he left home for his spiritual realization, although he had nothing to realize spiritually because he himself is a person to be spiritually realized. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So he's just setting the example for everyone. Yeah. And of course, the Sankhya philosophy, now we can also read about. So. Tarun?
Sa chapi tanyoktatena yoga deshena yoga yukkaha tasmin ashrama apide saraswatayah samhita. As instructed by her son, Devahuti also began to practice Bhakti Yoga in that very ashram. She practiced Samadhi in the house of Kardam Muni, which was so beautifully decorated with flowers that was considered the flower crown of the river Saraswati. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Right? As we know, Kardam Muni was doing tapasya at river Saraswati. Yeah, that's where Kardam Muni ashram was. Right? And it's very nicely, it's saying that Tasmin ashram apide is the flower crown. Saraswati Nadi, yeah, Saraswatya Samahita. So that ashram, yeah, was considered the flower crown of the river Saraswati. So beautifully decorated. And it says Dehuti did not leave her house, yeah, because it was not recommended for her to leave home. But then she remained at home and began to practice Bhakti Yoga as it was instructed by her great son Kapil Muni. And because of her practice of Bhakti Yoga, the entire home became just like a flower crown on the river Saraswati. Yeah. So that's how Mother Devahuti got liberated. Ajay?
Abhikshana Vagaha Kapishan Jatalik Kant Kuntil Lalkan Atmanam Chop 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 Chogat Prasa Vivati Chiranam Krisham. She began to bathe 3 times daily, and thus her curling black hair gradually became grey. Due to austerity, her body gradually became thin, and she wore old garments. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so she was totally focused in this service. Yeah, I think it's interesting to read this. Tarun?
To be too fat is not very good for a spiritually advanced life. Rather, one should reduce, because if one becomes fat, it is an impediment to progress in spiritual understanding. One should be careful not to eat too much, sleep too much, or remain in a comfortable position. Voluntarily accepting some penances and difficulties, one should take less food and less sleep. These are the procedures for practicing any kind of yoga, whether Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or Hatha Yoga. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, yeah? Tarun?
Prajapate Kardmasya Tapo Yoga Vridibhitam Swagarhastayam Anupamyam Pratyam Vemanikar Api. The home and household paraphernalia of Kardama, who was one of the Prajapatis, was developed in such a way by dint of his mystic powers of austerity and yoga that his opulence was sometimes envied by those who travel in outer space in airplanes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so what it's mentioning is that ashram, yeah, had like such kind of opulence that even those who are traveling in outer space, like maybe in the Devloks and all that, used to be jealous of that. Yeah, is what is being mentioned. And again, a nice purport. So let's read this. Ravi?
Yes. The statement in this verse that Kardam Muni's household affairs were envied even by the person who traveled in outer space refers to the denizens of heaven. Their airships are not like those we have invented in the modern age, which fly only from one country to another. Their airplanes were capable of going from one planet to another. There are many such statements in the Srimad Bhagavatam, from which we can understand that there were facilities to travel from one planet to another, especially in the higher planetary system. And who can say that they are not still traveling? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. They are not still traveling, means in the higher planetary systems, right? There are definitely facilities to travel from one planet to another planet, not just in this space. Yeah. And so this has been in our scriptures for so long and very clearly mentioned. Yeah. Anilji? Anilji?
Yes. The speed of our airplanes and space vehicles is very limited. But as we have already studied, Kardam Muni traveled in outer space in an airplane, which was like a city, and he journeyed to see all the different heavenly planets. That was not an ordinary airplane, nor was it ordinary space travel. Because Kardam Muni was such a powerful mystic yogi, his opulence was envied by the denizens of heaven. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So this, if you remember, when Karda Muni was doing tapasya, right, with his mystic power, he created the whole thing, and then just in the plane, he traveled all the lokas and everywhere else with Mother Dehuti. Yeah. So actually, we are going to pause here today. We have 7 minutes almost. But first of all, happy Ekadashi. And then, this Saturday is Narsingh Jayanti. Yeah, Narsingh Chaturdashi. This Saturday. So we are going to hear the Narsingh prayers. And then have a nice long weekend. Saturday, there are, of course, programs in the temple for Narsingh Chaturdashi everywhere, especially in the ISKCON temples. So if you can attend, please attend. There is also a Havan and Yajna and so many things happen. So it's always a nice time to be in the temple. Okay, so we are going to hear the Narsingh prayer and have a nice weekend. See you back on Monday. Yeah?
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Namaste Narasingaya. Namaste Narasingaya. Namaste Narasingaya. Namaste Narasingaya. Prahlad Dayine. Prahlad Dayine. Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha. Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha. Shilatankan khalaye. Shilatankan khalaye. Ito Narsingha parato Narsingha. Ito Narsingha parato Narsingha. Yato yato yami tato Narsingha. Yato yato yami tato Narsingha. Bahi Narsingha hridaye Narsingha. Bahi Narsingha hridaye Narsingha. Narasingha madhim sharanam prapade. Narasingha madhim sharanam prapade. Narasingha madhim sharanam prapade. Narasingha madhim sharanam prapade. Kavakara kamala vare nakam adbhuta shringa. Dalita hiranyakashipo tanubhringa. Keshavadhrita narahari rupa. Jai Jagadish Hare. Jai Jagadish Hare. Jai Jagadish Hare. Avakara kamala vare naka adbhuta shringa. Dalita hiranyakashipu tanubhringa.
Hare Krishna and happy nursing Chaturdashi. Saturday, there'll be one. I think in the afternoon is starting programs in Hillsborough here, Raleigh, also in New Jersey, Tarun. I think there's a temple in Edison. So they have a program starting at 2:30.